What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 118. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, guys? How you doing?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Howdy.
Brett Murdoch.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you guys there.
And Brian Manjoma.
One trophy left, man. Just one trophy left.
Yes, man. By the way, before we start, Brian, why do you sound funny? Just explain to the people. It's a good story.
Yeah, I sound funny because I have one trophy left for Uncharted 2. And because I only have the one screen, I can't use my PC on my main monitor because that's being used by my PS3 for the trophy. So I've actually switched to my MacBook as like my backup input for the throwdown. So please do excuse that, but it's for a good reason.
Yeah, I don't like you know me. I don't endorse the use of Apple products, but this is a good reason, so it's okay. You got to get that trophy, you know. Got to keep your eye on the prize. And by the way, Manny, man, we did it, man. That was a clean intro.
That was a clean intro. Perfect.
Crazy,
for those of
man.
you who are listening, we've been futzing around with the YouTube version of our show where we can actually play, because obviously you guys get the the views and opinions thing, and then you get the theme song. But people in YouTube don't get that sort of stuff. They would just get like raw stuff or kind of like a patched together version of it with visuals. Now we've managed to put it together where we can run a little video for the folks on YouTube, which has both stuff on it as well as the theme song.
Yeah, and it doesn't have that dumb shit on the bottom like the play stuff now,
No, it doesn't have the play or anything on there. That's because I'm using QuickTime, and you can move the controls onto the opposite screen. And I can actually see, because before also, if you guys also know on the YouTube version of our show, you would also hear this kind of brrrr noise in the background. That was so that I could, because we would have it in full screen mode, and I couldn't see any of the things that are going on, whether Tony is live or anything like that. So now we fixed it up so where now you get both the two cards as well as the actual intro song, which is a lot longer, but we don't want you guys to sit around for that.
Yeah, for YouTube, like, because the real song is about like a minute. For the MP3, we have about 30 seconds. That's way too long for YouTube. So we cut it down. But at least you get a little taste. You know what I'm saying? And also now we got timestamps. We're getting our production value up, people, and there's still more to come. But I'll explain that at the end of the show. So let's get right into this shit. G Megaforce 1.
Can you stop you like really quickly?
Oh, what's up?
I got it.
You got the trophy, my man. You got the platinum. You got the platinum.
I got it. Okay, yes. Cool. I'm gonna switch my PC, so I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
I love it, man.
That just ruined my timestamp.
It fucked up. Oh, damn. Okay, I guess we have to do it again. See, Brian, he's not even like aware of you, man. It's like no consideration. That's the word I'm looking for. No consideration.
Okay, here's one thing we do need to get as a for our soundboard. We need to get the trophy noise. We also need to get the Microsoft achievement noise. That little boing noise that happened.
All right, I'll get those for you. All right, all right, Carlos, you ready again? Let's do this. He's like, wait, because now we have the little time. I got to see how this whole timestamp thing works, man. One day, that's crazy. Hell yeah, we got an intro now, Black Dragon, man. That's how we do on Throwdown.
Yeah, we've had the intro for a long time. It's just we weren't able to figure out a way to play it for you guys on air.
Black Dragon, you're asking who caught the Royal Rumble. Why do you think Adam isn't here today, man? He's watching that shit.
Yeah. If we both, me and Adam, still lived in New York City, I probably wouldn't even be on this episode because we'd be out visiting my uncle, watching it.
Yeah, man. There you go. All right, so let's do this. G Megaforce 123 ask, do you think Nintendo will follow Sony and Microsoft and do a mid-cycle console upgrade with the Switch? It's a good question.
I think if anything what'll happen, they'll do it like they usually do it, where they'll revise the tech inside of it, just not say anything about it. Kind of like what
I don't think so. No, because it'll be like the Wii U all over again. The Switch, look, the Switch is not going to be a successful system, and they're not going to waste the resources revising it if it doesn't do well. This is with the Wii. They did revise it twice, or more in its life cycle. But because it was selling so well, and they decided to redo the tech, like Manny said, the tech inside of it, and pull out stuff like the GameCube parts of it out. But this time, I don't see that happening unless it sells well, which seems to be highly unlikely.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Chris on this one, like, because I don't think the Switch is going to be a success either. So you're not going to do a mid-gen upgrade to a system that's not selling. The Wii U didn't get one, so I don't think this one will either. If it's successful, if it's successful, maybe,
I have a feeling that something similar is going to happen to it, like the 3DS, where they just release it at that price point where everybody's like, I don't know about it, and there's no games. And then, like, to kind of regain their losses, they're going to probably drop the price heavily.
Yeah, so you're expecting another. So you think they're going to do the ambassador program too?
Well, where you had it and you didn't?
No. Okay, it's for you guys who don't know. So the 3DS came out. I forgot the original price point, right? But those who bought it at that price point, they got like 20 free games from the ambassador program when they dropped the price like a bunch of months later.
You know what they're gonna do? They're just gonna give them a free subscription to their service,
maybe
to their online service.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's if they do it. So people who got it before. Like if they, if it's not, which I'm sure it's not going to do very well on launch and on that, so they're probably just going to drop the price and then do their version, another version of the ambassador program, where they'll just give everybody who's previously bought the damn thing, maybe a month and a half of Nintendo Plus.
Whatever the fuck it's called,
Nintendo Plus or Nintendo Plus Live. There we go.
Yeah. I don't know. Anybody else got anything to say about this mid-gen console upgrade for Switch? Yeah or nay?
I think they'll just change their targeting on it and go after forcing a conversion from all the handheld users. I mean, it's eventually going to replace the 3DS, so they may just push that forward a little bit more to capture that market that they already have. Because I mean, let's be honest, it's going to be better than the 3DS. It's going to be a better handheld.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be a more powerful handheld for sure. I don't know. We'll have to see about it. That price is kind of high for a handheld, though.
How isn't a 3DS something around like $200 anyway, or wasn't it at one point?
It was like $250 at launch or something like that. People thought that was too high. It didn't sell, so they had to drop it to like $160 or something.
I can see the Switch in today's day and age of tablets. Just they're like, well, it's kind of like a tablet. That's $300. And it's not bad for a tablet. I mean, you can't get a tablet for $300. I don't know. I think there's a chance there if they market it smartly. But then again, like every time I give Nintendo credit and an option to be like, well, here's, they could do this. They don't do that thing. So
yeah, Brett, imagine if this doesn't come with a web browser.
No. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, man.
Why? Like none of the web browser on the PlayStation is shit. Does anybody use it?
No, but people use their web browsers in their tablets. So if you're marketing that as a tablet, imagine not having a web browser working.
Oh, I'm not even saying they'll market it as a tablet. People just make that price comparison in their mind. They'll be like, well, it's kind of like a tablet. So I mean, $300 for something that's made of the same parts and does kind of the same stuff, doesn't seem unreasonable.
All right, but it's not going to do this. Like that's the scenario that I'm bringing. It's not going to do the same stuff. So, like, that's just one thing.
Does it matter?
Yeah. If people want it as if Nintendo's probably not trying to market it as a tablet, but if the market is dictating it as a tablet, then people
no nobody's saying it is a tablet. Like I'm saying, like when you look at something this big that is powered by small processors and has a battery life and has a touchscreen this big, like how much would you expect on the current market to pay for that, despite it whatever architecture or system it's running on? Like it could be no, I'm talking like strictly on the hardware and the specs. I don't think $300 is out of range. I don't think that people will look at it and think it's a tablet. I don't think that Nintendo will try and market it as a tablet. I don't think it'll do the same things as a tablet. I'm just saying that I don't think that people pay $600 for their phone now. I don't think that they're going to be like, $300 for this thing that looks a lot like the stuff I already buy. I don't think it'll be that big a shock anymore.
But that's just
jaded.
But people are complaining about it already.
That's just the entry value, though, because with a phone, once you buy the phone, that's all you have to really pay for, other than a subscription. But the console needs to, like, you need to buy games for it. You need to buy a controller for it. It's much more than $300.
Right, and spending $600 on your phone. Realize every year phones become way more capable than the previous years. You know, better cameras. They develop new apps. So the support is high on iOS and Android, and they're just far more capable devices. Like, you can consume all your media on your phone. You can take pictures with it. You can record video. You can get the news. You can get anything you want, and you can play games. So for Nintendo to ask for this much money, a price tag that they don't offer nearly the amount of services and features that your phone can offer you, well, that's a huge mistake, right? Because I don't need to spend that. People already have phones. They already made that assumption with their stupid voice over IP chat nonsense that you need an app on your phone to chat. So they've already made that assumption. So why does anyone need to spend extra money to have a device that is just so incapable of performing well on its own?
All right, I guess that'll be that. We'll see though. But yeah, I seriously doubt it. All right. Next question here. Manny, you're supposed to do it then. Like, next question.
Now let's make a Switch.
We're gonna annoy the shit out of you with that tonight. All right. If the Switch is a success, will Sony and Microsoft mimic Nintendo as they did after the Wii success? This is what I said. If the Switch is a success, Sony could be like, "Hey, we got the Vita." They can just bring that shit back.
You know, here's the thing. It wouldn't take that much to convert the Vita, to do what needs to be done to make the Vita into almost exactly the Switch. In fact, the second version of the Vita uses a micro, the micro USB port. The Nintendo Switch uses a micro USB port. You could run video through that. So theoretically, you put down a dock that not only charges as well as connects to your television via HDMI. Only difference is the Vita runs, the PlayStation Vita runs at 720.
Yeah, I mean, I could see if Nintendo's handheld is a big success that Sony comes out with a new handheld. I honestly feel like, and it's a shame because the PSP was kind of lackluster. The Vita didn't really boom, but I feel like the Vita's coming up on its expiration date a little bit. Like, not immediately, but it's going to need a technical upgrade, or it's going to start lagging behind stuff.
I
I agree with that. Like, I think, they could just come out with a new handheld. They're probably not going to call it Vita. They want to distance themselves from that, but have it be compatible with Vita games. You know?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the architecture for the PlayStation Vita is incredibly. It's essentially the same architecture that for the big PlayStation 4, and that's why conversion has been so easy for it.
Yeah, so they could just beef it up and make it backwards compatible, and I think that would make pretty much everybody happy.
Yep, I agree. Microsoft, I don't see them doing a handheld, to be honest.
No, the handheld, their handheld would just be a connection to their tablet PC market. So it'd probably be whatever being that they're the Surface.
They're already kind of pushing that, aren't they? Like,
it could be with the Surface. It could be something like that. So essentially, a Surface.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
You can probably, they could set it up for, they could make the Surface play Xbox games. They're just depending on how strong the Surface tablet is. So they already have that. They're already in the portable market. It's just about turning the switch on.
Turning the switch?
You mean the?
Got to get ready. Got to be faster on that.
Hey man, I can't. I got to let the video run for that.
Yes.
I mean, can we take a second and think that and I'm not going to even give this credit to Nintendo, but is it possible that Nintendo has stumbled onto the future of gaming?
I'm sorry, I just had to let that out real quick.
I know it sounds ridiculous. But think about it. Like, what has been the evolution of entertainment compared with screens? Like, the household used to have one TV, and you used to have to share that TV with a bunch of people. You used to watch TV when it was on. Like, it became as this communal space that was linked to, certain timed things being released. As time has gone on, we've all gathered more screens. We've all garnered more screens. We all have personal screens. Like, is it really so ludicrous to think that your gaming is going to take place in the future on your personal screen?
You know what it is? It's not ludicrous. It's just I don't see Nintendo being the guys who shepherd that, seeing how they pretty much fuck everything up. But I don't agree with I don't disagree with your premise. I just don't think Nintendo's the one to do it.
No, because I'm sure Chris and everybody will agree. They don't have the foresight enough to think like that.
Yeah, exactly.
For the Nintendo Switch to be successful, it really needs to embrace a lot of the things that Nintendo will not embrace.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. Like, there is a weird parallel dimension in which at this point Nintendo makes all the right choices and they actually could come out on top. Like, it's not, and I think this may be where Nintendo fans are baffled, because it's not like Nintendo has fucked up yet. We just all know from past experience where they're going to go from the point that they're at right now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be terrible. But even as of right now, like, they keep bumbling accidentally sideways into the. I mean, it seems like there's still a thing almost on accident, doesn't it? Like, it wasn't through any grand strategic decision that they ended up remaining competitive today. It was just through, like, exploitation of their old products, amiibos, and just dumb luck.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree with that. That's what I think happened with the Wii. They didn't manufacture that. They didn't go, we're going to sell this many. They stumbled into success.
Exactly.
Let's just be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other, even the Switch is just a redo on the Wii U. It's what everybody thought the Wii U was.
Yeah,
right?
Basically. It's a Wii U and a Wii combined, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, again, Nintendo accidentally listened to their consumer base, because you show somebody an idea and they'll fill in the blanks. When they showed the people the Wii U, people filled in the blanks with dreams and hopes. They're like, this is what I would really like the Wii U to be. This is what we think the Wii U should be. This is what we think the Wii U will be. And then when it disappointed them, it's almost as if Nintendo went, hey, we should have made that thing that they wanted us to make, or they thought we were making. They'd probably like that. I don't think that's what happened, but it kind of seems that way.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else want to chime in on that real quick? Sony and Microsoft possibly doing a Nintendo Switch type thing?
I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I mean, like Manny said, Sony already has the Vita. They could just revitalize the whole Vita thing and enhance it. Microsoft doesn't need to do that. They never had a handheld. I mean, Surface can connect, but they don't care about that at all. So I don't think they would follow suit. And after the let's face it, after the failure that was the Kinect and PS Move, they're not going to take anything from Nintendo's playbook.
Yeah, good point there.
Well, go
ahead.
Sony already actually do this? Like, wasn't that the whole point of remote play? Was that you were able to have full-fledged console games and then take them on the go with you?
Like, with the Vita, that's exactly what it
seems
was.
like if remote play had actually worked as intended, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
I don't know, man, because like remote play is part of what kept the Vita going. Like the Vita was pretty much almost dead, and the remote play kind of kept it from dying.
But I can't it
didn't revive.
I'm like everybody else. Like I can't get it to fucking work right. Like I want it to get it to work flawlessly in a lag-free environment. And
well, you know what they would need to do, right? So if Sony wanted to just take the wind out of Nintendo sales right now, Make PS Now part of your PS Plus subscription. Just cut the pricing down, and then make it work with the Vita, so you can stream any type of console game you want to your Vita. And if you own it already on PlayStation, you get access to it, no problem, right? Even if you don't have PS Plus, if you bought the game, they should just rejigger their pricing of PS Now service to do exactly that. And if they did that and promoted it, that would take the wind right out of Nintendo.
Yeah, that'd be
and it'd also be a little bit better. You know, it wouldn't be better than Microsoft's thing, but it would be very similar to Microsoft's backwards compatibility thing as well. You know, where you could stick a game in, and if it's available, it'll automatically download to your console.
Yeah, exactly. So you'd have streaming games from your Vita, and then when you're at home, you do remote play, and you have and then you have the share play too. They could expand share play. So if I'm on my Vita, and then let's say Manny was playing Gravity Rush, and I want to see it, I could see it on the Vita and see exactly what he's doing. See all that interaction, that stuff Nintendo could only dream of doing. Like in their wildest dreams, they would never be able to make that work. And Sony already has it working. They just need to take the steps to unify it and price it right so that people will adopt it, right? And if they did that and revitalized the Vita, did the PS Now pricing strategy, and then updated share play for that feature, they would just, I think that would devastate the Switch right there.
Yeah, good point. All right. Next question here. By the way, the first two questions we asked were actually part of one question. Like, dude, you got to watch it with like sticking two questions in at the same time. So I had to split them up. All right. The next one is, does Nintendo intentionally create product scarcity to create the appearance for its shareholders of high demand for its products, or is there another less conspiracy theory related reason for Nintendo's frequent shortfall of products to fill demand? Chris, I'm looking at you.
Oh yeah, no, it's a multiple win strategy they try to do with artificial scarcity. So to the market, it looks like this thing is hot, right? So everybody wants it, and they can't get it. Which it's a basic psychology that people want what they can't have, and if they wanted the thing in the first place, then they'd be desperate for it, as they can't find it. So that's one way artificial scarcity works in favor of the manufacturer who's doing it. And then the other way is that you have you have these high sales, but not really as high as you could have if it wasn't there, right? Because if demand for the Switch, if they actually paid attention to the actual demand and manufactured enough of them, the sales would be higher. But doing this kind of safe scaling of a product in the market, it makes them look somewhat viable, but I think they've played out that strategy. This is the fourth or fifth time they're doing it. You did it Wii U, they've done it with the new Nintendo 3DS, and now they're doing it with the Switch. So you can't keep doing that. People are wise to it too now. And after the NES Classic and everything I said before, you do this again, and people are going to walk away from the table because there are other options. There's no blue ocean for you here. You are competing with Sony and Microsoft in the gaming console space. If you're not, then you're competing with Apple and Samsung and LG in the mobile space. So good luck with that. Like anybody can get their hands on any of those products easily without a problem. They will walk away from you and go get an Xbox or PlayStation or an iPad or whatever, and be completely satisfied with that experience and just forget about you.
Here's my kind of problem with this question, like the second part where he goes, is there a less conspiracy theory related reason for this? That's not a conspiracy theory. That's exactly what Nintendo's doing, the whole artificial scarcity thing. That's not like something like that is just crazy or like unheard of. They do it. We've seen Chris just said 5 times. They've done it before. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a fact,
Yeah. See, because if you think about this, like they launched a console in March, and Reggie said himself that March is not a time that you launch systems, but he used this reverse psychology where he's like, oh, so we have supply issues because this is not a normal time to launch consoles, which is exactly reverse of how it should work, because if this is not the time that console manufacturing is high, then you should have more resources to make more systems.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You don't have a launch window competing with other console manufacturers. you should have more access to resources and be able to produce more systems. Plus the fact that look at Microsoft's track record and Sony's track record for putting product in the market, and there's never been a case of like, I can't find a PlayStation ever. No one has ever said that. Nobody I know or they know, you go 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, go find someone who has not been able to find any version of PlayStation or Xbox because it hasn't happened. But Nintendo constantly has this problem. So it's not conspiracy theory. They do that on purpose.
Yeah, no, they do it on purpose. I think that's pretty demonstrable right there. So there's no conspiracy there. They do it, you know. All right. Last question for Mr. G Megaforce. In case the Nintendo Switch turns into another Wii U disaster, does Nintendo get a third chance, or are they out? What would be the aftermath? I think we already answered the first part many times. If this shit doesn't succeed, they're gonna have to go the third party, right? I've been saying this shit for years, you know. So that's it. They're done after that. Like Nintendo's still obviously gonna be around. They're not gonna go extinct, but they're gonna have to go the third party, right? They're gonna have no choice after this shit bombs, you know. So yeah, I don't think we need to go too much on that because again, we've done that before. Let's go tackle the second part of this question. What would be the aftermath of that?
Yeah, the aftermath of that. Well, in my editorial, there's two options. Like Tony said, they go third party, and they have to make deals with Sony and Microsoft and mobile, and produce games on those platforms. But if they wait too long, if they ride out the Switch too long, if they sink with the ship that is going down, if they just wait, then they will be in such a horrible financial position that they will have no choice but to auction off their IPs to pay off all their creditors. And that in that case, you have the THQ scenario. You have them auctioning off to bidders to get money to make sure that and this is what fanboys people don't understand. You have employees and you have cost. You have real estate cost. You have they have loans against their products in Japan and in other regions. There's currency devaluing. There's all sorts of stuff they have to factor into a business to work, right? If they wait too long and this thing fails and they keep writing on it and it doesn't work and they end up going in the red so far that they can't make up the difference. They can't pay back their loans and all their creditors start calling in. They'll have no choice but to sell their IPs. Their real estate and other assets are not worth much of anything. Their IPs are very valuable, and that's the only thing they could be able to use to pay off all their employees, sever any ties, pay off all their executives, pay off all their loans, their creditors, their bank creditors, everything. Get rid of their real estate and auction off all their IPs. So you'll have Microsoft and Sony and EA and Activision and whoever else going in there and bidding on all their stuff, right? And that's what if they hit that bottom.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with all of that. You guys have any other things to add to that?
No, I'm good with that. I think that works for me.
Yeah, we nailed it. Again, we've talked about how they're gonna have to go third party, but yeah, the auctioning part, that would be pretty brutal. Imagine that's like you'll have Zelda on fucking Sony, on PlayStation. You have Metroid on Xbox. It's nuts, man. Smash Brothers would be extinct effectively because all these franchises are everywhere. Who knows? It's possible. Who knows? All right. Moving on here, Mr. Willie Robinson. This is a hypothetical type of question. All right. He goes, with the rise of competitive gaming primarily on PC, I feel like consoles will go the way of the arcades. Phones will be the new consoles attaching to your TV or HoloLens screens. He laughs about that. PC gaming will be the standard for the core gamer, and Sony and Microsoft will have digital stores competing with Steam. The only hardware that will be sold are controllers and such. This will happen in the next 20 to 30 years when the kids grow up. Do you guys agree with this? Very interesting hypothetical there. What do you guys say?
I think so. I think consoles are going the way of PC anyways. So there's going to be a point where it's all going to merge, and it's going to be hard to distinguish between a PC and a console. Like either PCs are going to be just like consoles are going to cease to exist, and PCs are the only way you're going to be able to play games, or consoles evolve in a way where they're just essentially PCs and they do everything a PC can do, and they play games.
Ooh.
So
I feel like I'd quit gaming if that happened.
Yeah, because you don't want all those cheaters, right, Brett?
Yeah, I don't want cheaters. I don't want modders. I don't want people being able to hack into my game system. Like there's a point to a closed proprietary system. There's a point to this service that makes for an even playing field and an ease of use. And the second that goes south, like I guess I'll just start playing on PC, but a whole different set of games.
Yeah. Here's my thing. It's an interesting take on it, but it's not crazy far-fetched because I was reading this thing about how PC sales in general have gone down, right? Because you could do all your shit, email, whatever, you could do it all on your phone now, right? However, PC gaming sales are going up. You know, people are buying graphics cards and all this shit. So I am noticing that it is kind of merging all now, right? Like it's getting to the point where PC gaming may be so easy that it could be for the average core gamer, right? And then all your computer stuff, you don't even need a computer for it anymore because again, you could do almost 90% of that shit on your phones and stuff. So I could see that happening in our lifetime. I doubt it, but it's possible. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, now I want to play my shit on my TV. So just plug it in and you're good to go. That'll be interesting though, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Definitely not in our lifetime, you know, but I could see it happening because PC gaming is just getting easier and easier. If you got a guy like me getting into PC gaming, you know, some shit is real right now, you know, and Hip Hop Gamer and fucking, what's his face? The dude from the Expendables, Terry Crews. He's getting into PC. Oh man, Manny, what do you say?
Well, I mean, I also want to say that the problem is that, like, you'll never be able to carry around your console in your pocket unless physics stops being a thing that works the way that it does. More space, like even if you could fit a full console in a space this size, you're going to be able to fit a way better console in a space this size. So I don't think it'll ever be. You know, the Switch is a good example. It's not as powerful as the other consoles.
But what about in 20 years? Could we possibly have something super powerful that fits in your pocket?
Yeah, but then you'll have something extremely super powerful that sits on your shelf.
Yeah, so okay, so no matter what, there's always going to scale, right?
Yeah, there's always going to scale with size. Yeah, absolutely, gotcha. Always.
Yeah, essentially, the time where that's going to stop, Brett, is when a transistor gets to the size of an electron.
Transistors.
Yeah, and we start dealing with quantum computing.
Yeah, and then we just change completely what we do to compute anything.
Dude, I'm thinking about this right now. It's like, yo, man, I could play games at 8K on my phone. It's like, yeah, that's cool. I could play 50K on my TV.
On my TV?
On my TV? Anyway, Manny, get in here. I want your thoughts.
I personally, with the way how consoles are doing nowadays, even to this day, that's if that does happen, where people just all of a sudden give up console gaming and play PC, it'll probably be way in the future.
Yeah, well, he did say 20, 30 years, you know?
I mean, even then, I feel like people still like the simplicity of a closed system, you know? I mean, granted, though, everybody nowadays have these like these weird complexes thinking that these consoles will constantly provide, you know, throughout the years will constantly provide the top of the line, you know, graphics and sound, which is kind of silly. I mean, the only way that's going to happen is if they allow the things to be upgraded. But upgrading a console also opens a new door. You know, it opens the ability to mod a console.
Yeah.
So I mean, go ahead.
I just realized that there are people out there who aren't young enough to remember the initial modded Xbox wars. Do you guys remember that? Like when Halo was the thing and all kinds of people physically modded their Xbox in
like
an
Adam.
effort to cheat at Halo.
Like Adam.
Like Adam.
Yeah, I did that too, man.
And do you guys remember how far down into the darkness that took online gaming?
Oh, well, yeah. But, you know, here's the thing. But the funny thing that came out of that is that literally Microsoft looked at exactly what all those people were doing with the mods and literally did it on the next version of Xbox. Everything. Like the weather reports, the ability to play different formats, you know, connectivity between other players, all that shit was all pioneered by the guys who modded that stupid thing.
Oh, I never had a problem with that. It was just always the guy with the modded Xbox was the guy who could leap 50 feet in the air and was invulnerable.
Yeah, because you could actually add hacks on top of games, and that would also at the same time, because you could add a hack on top of a game. If you're playing it online, obviously the mods see that and know what they do is they brick your Xbox.
Now they do. For a while there, it was pretty rampant. I remember with Halo 1, about once out of every 4 matches I was in for a while there, I was running into hackers, and it was a big deal. At least with me and my friends, like it made you almost not want to play Halo 1.
I'm sorry.
I remember. What's that?
I'm sorry.
Well, did you cheat to be invulnerable and then be a dick about it?
No, I would. So what I would do 2 things. And granted, I was like in high school still, so I get some credit for like being dumb and naive and young.
Well, yeah.
I used to. So I did 2 things. I would do something called a standby glitch, where you would essentially like get host of the match. So if you had host of the match, you essentially like you host the match. It's hosted on your connection. So I would press the standby button on my modem and just make everyone lag except for myself. So everyone would be lagging except me, since I'm host and the game is hosted locally on your server. You don't feel the side effects of it. And then another thing that I did after I modded my Xbox, I made sure so like if I had a sniper rifle, I could just get instant headshots and then unlimited ammo, and it would shoot like 100 shots per second. So every time it would spawn, it just hold the trigger and it would instantly kill everyone in the map.
Oh man, I remember that those were the days that aimbots made their way onto Xbox too. My point is this: like it's not a theoretical thing like, oh, what's going to happen when people like allow, free and open modding on consoles? Like I've seen it. The 16-year-olds of the world will dance in your misery after just going out of their way to ruin their day. And then the Chinese will come in droves. That sounds racist, but I mean it as like it actually happened to me.
I could see that. Brian, you good now?
Yep, I'm good.
All right, answer the question.
What was the question?
God damn it, Brian.
Answer the question, Brian.
Answer the question. The one about the future of gaming, like where basically core gamers are going to be on PC and everybody else is going to be on
Willie
tablets.
Robinson's question.
Huh?
Willie Robinson's question.
Willie Robinson. He was too busy getting a trophy.
I was supposed to just update my PS3.
Oh shit.
Okay, I'll just read it for you. With the rise of competitive gaming primarily on PC, I feel like consoles will go the way of arcade. Phones will be the new consoles attached to your TV or holoscreen, etc. LOL. PC gaming will be the standard for the core gamer, and Sony and Microsoft will have digital stores that compete with Steam. Only hardware that will be sold are controllers and such. This will happen in the next 20 to 30 years when kids grow up. Do you agree with this?
Okay. I don't know. It all depends what happens with the next 2-3 generations of consoles, whether or not they will be actual boxes like they are now, or they'll turn into like hybrid weird things like the Switches. Because by the sounds of it, he's implying that like the next consoles will turn into like Switch type things where it's like, hey, just plug it in and play, or take it out and play. So whatever. But as long as console games still have their stupid exclusives, then I don't think that the core will only exclusively play on PC, because it's very difficult to be a core gamer and not play and not at least own a PC and a console.
Now here's an idea, Brian and Willie. What about if it went the opposite way, where in the future you had a core high-powered household server that offset its own sort of cloud onto a series of multimedia devices?
I wouldn't mind that.
Wait, you mean like streaming?
Essentially, here's the way that you get around the whole bigger computer gives you more computation thing, is that you essentially have the cloud. You have a big, powerful server that lends its computational power to smaller computers around the area. Sometimes it could be things like data folding. Sometimes it could be like process offloading. Sometimes it can be things like streaming. Any combination of these tactics plus other ones that I'm not smart enough to know about But you'd be essentially able to, by plugging yourself into a home network, throw something from your iPad onto your TV, but it's not running on your iPad or your TV. That information is being generated somewhere in your core server and is just being broadcast onto each device. That way you could have a very small device that you just walk into your room and throw it up on your TV, and boom, it's an input. But still, all that computational power is coming from a large computational server hidden somewhere in the house, and it'll be a utility the same way like you have a furnace that supplies heat for the whole house, or central AC that supplies AC for the whole house. You'll have a computational tower that supplies computational power for the whole house.
Yeah, my problem is like they need to fix the streaming part of it, because nobody wants to be playing with lag.
But see, that's the thing. You wouldn't be worrying about. You wouldn't be relying on the speed of Time Warner or the infrastructure or anything like that. It would be. Have you ever noticed like it's way faster if you have a good modem to send information from one thing on your network to another thing on your network, as opposed to having to send it through the internet? Sending it through the internet slows it way the fuck down. You can almost instantly transmit a lot of stuff through the network. And in fact, you can stream a lot of stuff on the network. When you have a shared network, I can play a movie directly from, one computer to another computer. Like if I don't have a movie on this computer, I can just play it through the network from another computer. So it's not far-fetched. It's just, how do you package and sell that idea to people? And I think it would have to be the same way that you package and sold the idea to people, back in the, late 80s, early 90s, of the home PC, of everybody kind of gathering around and utilizing this.
Well, probably by then, Brian, most things would be wireless anyways.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is I'm hoping that it would then, you'd sell it with like, oh, this also controls the thermostat. It also controls all the smart lighting. It also controls... it's connected into these new voice-activated hubs that you can have in every room. So with this, not only do you actually get the whole, like, you walk into a room and the lights turn on, you ask you're like, adjust the temperature, play some jazz, what's the news? Also, flip on the living room TV and cue up this movie for me. All of this could happen just kind of wirelessly. And if you want to pop onto your iPad, it's not going to be limited by the limitations of an iPad. Suddenly, it'll just be kind of streaming from this server, and it'll run like a high-end gaming PC. That's my dream.
So essentially,
my vision of the future.
Essentially, you have a utility that is computational power, and you're paying for that, and it's doing different services, stuff like that.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be piped through the system like a utility. It would be more like having an HVAC system installed in your house. Like, it would be one of the core things that people consider a civilized home to have installed.
Gotcha.
Well, I like what Techno Fabulous said. He goes, I hope the next consoles are like those cubes in the Hellraiser movies. Pinhead sucks us into the game itself.
We have such sights to show you.
All right, let's move on here. Mr. Subgata. It's been a while since he's asked us questions. He actually asked us like 3 normal questions, then 3 questions in case we didn't get a lot of questions this week. We didn't get a lot of questions this week, so we're going to answer all 6 of these. And I like his questions too. They're very kind of blunt and to the point. Okay. With all that's going on, do you expect to pay higher prices for games? He's specifically talking about the, what is it, the trade bullshit that Trump wants to implement, where like, if you bring in products from like another country, it's going to cost you more. That would mean Japanese games price goes up. A couple of articles have been written about this. It's possible. Who knows? So do you think that this could actually happen, where you have to pay $70 for Final Fantasy 16 or something?
Isn't that on physical goods though?
Yeah, game is a physical good.
Yeah, but that's when you just basically send the copy over and have a manufacturer it here. And that's the end goal, is not to drive up the price, but to force the manufacturing of the physical things locally. And here's the thing. At least, and I know I'm dangerously going into politics here.
Yeah, even though this is a political question, let's try to not get too deep into it, if you know what I mean.
The thing that he's repealing was something that wasn't good for us to begin with, but is now complicated by the fact that you put a bad system in place and then tear it out by the roots, you've only made things worse. Now, that being said, what is supposed to be happening is that this should force more domestic labor prices or more domestic manufacturing here in the States for games played in the States. They would send the code over, they would press the disc here, and then they'd ship it on a truck from wherever they press the disc here. This would create jobs, and essentially, in theory, shouldn't fuck too much with the general price of the game. If anything, it would lead them to push digital sales more. Now, the complication that we run into is, okay, so you tear up any system by the roots and everything goes wonky. So is anybody going to use this chaos as an excuse to try and let their greed get the better of them and get a bigger piece of the pie? And the answer to that is yes, if you let them. You know, if a game studio comes out and says we're going to be charging $65 for this because of all this other stuff, blah blah blah, and we say, well, okay, we understand, then everybody will. Whereas nobody ever, you know, like we all ask the question, what about all that extra money you get from digital game sales since they're tied to the price of physical game sales? And they just never answer us. So it's kind of one of those things where it could be an excuse to jack up prices, although not a good one. So don't let them. And at the end of the day, when this whole thing settles down, again, for reasons that I'm not going to get into, and smarter men than me could explain better, I'm pretty sure the deal that he was revoking was heavily opposed, as it basically opened the door for a lot of outsourcing of jobs and money and whatnot. So
you know, the best way to do this would be like any company that is considered an American company outsourcing gets the drop on them. Like, in other words, they end up having to pay more because they have to export their services.
I think that's the heart of it, though, isn't it? Like, if you're an American company and you like outsourcing your work, and then that work comes back, you know, like Foxconn shit, you know what I mean?
Honestly, this was bad for the entertainment industry. It was bad for electronics. It was bad for a lot of things. What it was going to do, it was going to be very good for like nursing industries and things like that. And I'm not going to get into the specifics, partially because I don't want to pull up any papers and open up a new discussion, but it was set to grow certain markets, and it was set to be adverse to certain markets. And the long and the short of it was good for big pharma. It was not really so great for you and I, the casual gamers. So I can't say that it's good now that it's been repealed, because just like I don't think Obamacare worked in its current version, fucking tearing it out by the roots just leaves everybody fucked. So
but the thing is that's the problem with Obamacare, is that they didn't tear it out from the roots. It just is a bunch of patches. It's a bunch of patches on something that never really worked in the first place. But then again, let's not get into that.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Anybody else want to jump on this real quick, or you want to move on? Higher price for games, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, I looked up. I just Googled Donald Trump in video games, and the first thing that came up is a tweet about him talking shit about it. So
of course, he's a politician now, you know. So
yeah, it's easy to talk about video games when you don't know shit about it.
You know,
we're talking about you, Miss Ashley Judd.
Yo, don't get me started on that. Yeah, that's fucking stupid. All right, quickly, Chris, what do you have to say about this, and then we'll move on.
I don't think the price of games will go up, because even if all right, let's say he puts the tariff on imports on disc and stuff outside the country, right? Then it would be a huge mistake for publishers to go, okay, we need to offset that cost and pass it on to us, right? Because then they would just either drive demand for physical media out the window, right? Because people go, all right, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to get the digital copy then. So they would just hurt their own business, because then you go, oh, why are we doing this? let's stop making disc, or let's move the manufacturing, within the U.S. Right? Those are the only two options. So there's no way that cost, if the cost gets passed down to us, and most gamers are not going to pay it, then they're going to have to change their whole business model. So, or they don't pass the cost to us and they eat the cost. Those are the only options. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But in the end, I don't think anyone is going to take that, right? You want to pay 20% or more based on tariffs? Like, I'm not going to do that. I'll just go digital.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. All right, let's move on here. Next question. What's your most, and here's some like nice simple questions too. What's your most anticipated game for this year?
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect.
I'm
actually already.
I'm gonna go with Red Dead Redemption 2, man.
Thank you. I was about to say how I'm not sure all the games that are coming out in 2017, but I'm pretty sure Red Dead 2 is the granddaddy of them.
Yeah, man. Like I'm hyped for Mass Effect as well, but it's fucking Red Dead. Come on.
Oh, but that game's made by a bunch of tantrum throwing panty wastes.
Yeah, but again, I could separate the work from the person that makes it.
Oh, good luck. I have a feeling about this game.
All right, we'll see. But again, that's not gonna. I like the other Mass Effects. I'm hyped for this one. I go with what happened in the past, but Red Dead. Give me that shit. Even though I suspect it'll probably get delayed.
Yeah, that's true. It got big time delayed. That's
all. Like it's supposed to come out fall 2017. I predict if it does get delayed, March 2018.
Probably. I doubt it'll come out in 2017, but as of now, it says it's going to. So.
Yeah. All right. Manny.
I would go with Red Dead. That's literally going to be the next game I'm buying.
Oh shit, that's months from now. So no.
Yeah, I'm not interested in Mass Effect. I'm not interested in Horizon. So the next one will probably be Red Dead.
Yeah. All right. Brian, what about you?
Project Cars 2.
Are you trolling right now?
No, I mean serious.
Wow. Then again, this is Brian. Yeah, he likes those car games.
Okay, I also said that I'm not a fan of games set in the Old West because I'm just not a fan of that time period in general.
I wasn't either, Brian, until I played Red Dead.
It just doesn't appeal to me. Like maybe I'll try it out, but again, it's what are you most excited for? So hence why I'm not excited for Red Dead. And Mass Effect, I just never liked Mass Effect. It just seems like space opera and Star Trek, and I'm not a fan of Star Trek. So I'm sorry for liking different stuff.
Yeah, well, it's funny. The reason you don't like it is the exact reason I like it. I'm like, hey, it's a Star Trek game I've always wanted.
Oh yeah, I love Star Trek.
So. Yeah, man.
It's not really hate. It's not really hate. It's just
Brian, are you telling me you're not excited for Project Sonic?
What's that?
The new Sonic game.
Oh, fuck that. Play Sonic Mania, man.
But it's got like 2 Sonics in it, maybe even 3. I didn't finish the trailer.
Nah, watch Sonic Mania is the only one that matters. Fuck that shit.
Have the Sonic with the thing, the hand like bandages and the scarf thing.
No, this is a new one.
Oh, what? No, I like that one. He was edgy.
He's edgy. He had scarves. He had scarves and rags all over.
Rags.
Oh my god.
Wait,
can I change my vote to that?
Is Shenmue 3 coming out this year?
Nah.
Damn, I don't know.
They just started active development like last month.
Oh shit.
So
yeah, they said that they finally got. They finally put everything together. So now they're actually programming stuff.
And they need to localize it and everything. Man, that's just gonna take forever, man.
Hopefully they get a better. Hopefully they get a better voice director on that guy who plays Rio. Man, that guy is like, I would like to know about sailors.
He was so awkward. I was like, no wonder people want to kick your ass in an alley all the time.
Yeah, right. Because he sounds like that.
Can you tell me about
your favorite flavor
day?
of drink?
All right, let's move on here. Next question.
Mine's grape.
what game world would you like to live in? I like this question.
We've been asked about this one before.
Kind of, yeah, but it's been a while, so we can answer it.
Gravity Rush.
Really?
Crazy ass, like
you're gonna fall off the edge.
Hey man, that's just the way it happens.
You know,
yeah, but Manny, there's only like 2 people in that world with powers.
There's only 2 people with that powers, but hey, listen, I get to hang out on these floating island shits.
Yeah, you got to learn a whole new language.
It looks pretty. It looks pretty. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. I want to, going back again. I want to live in the world of Mass Effect. I want to live in the Citadel. That's what I want. Even though it's going to get attacked by a fucking Reaper, I still want to live in
See, herein lies the problem with this question. Video game worlds are dangerous. Yes, game worlds are dangerous. Okay, in Gravity Rush, you could accidentally be gravitated off of your island world and fall into an endless abyss. In friggin' Mass Effect, the Citadel gets destroyed like every year. You know?
Yeah, wow.
That's why I had thought ahead, and I would say the game world I would want to live in would be Stardew Valley.
I knew you were going to say that.
See, if you live in
your grandfather gives you this huge farm. There's caves to explore. You get to clear everything out and like start a badass brewery and get rich.
You're missing the biggest problem with Stardew Valley. There is a serious lack of people in Stardew Valley. Who's buying this milk? You go into the towns and they're empty.
There's a trainer, a boss, or something.
It's a little lonely in Stardew Valley. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I had a feeling Brett was going to say that. Because what is the safest game world? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Stardew Valley. Well, no, you're not safe either because if you walk into the mines to explore,
there are monsters to fight shit. That's what I'm saying. Like you'd be like, I'm gonna stay here and get rich. I feel like going to fight some monsters. I'm gonna go in this cave, and then when I'm done, I'm leaving. Oh, cool.
Brett, you don't want to live in
or you can pass out in the cave.
Brett, you don't want to live in the Minecraft world.
Nah, I don't need motherfuckers like busting through my wall every 5 minutes like the Kool-Aid Man.
When the night comes, oof. The creepers, right? I think they're called. Come after you.
Yeah. No, those are no good.
Yeah. All right, Chris, what you got? Favorite game world you want to live in?
Oh, I'm with you on Mass Effect. It's I know Star Trek is a movie franchise, so I won't use that as like a cheat and say Star Trek Online, but Mass Effect is the closest thing I would get to that kind of lifestyle. I would want that, just exploring space, the Citadel, all that shit. Yeah, I'm ready. Get me off this planet.
See, this is why Chris and I get along, because when I thought about like what fictional world would I want to live in, I'm like, I want to live in Star Trek. I want to live in Star Trek. That's shit right there.
It's so militant. I couldn't stand it.
I was militant.
What do you mean?
You mean space communism? The universe? Because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's a far cry from like the I would put Firefly at the opposite end of that spectrum, which is one thing that always
Firefly is like super militant, like the whole like evil empire took over that shit, like the Federation's still at least a republic, They just have to be militarized because the board keeps showing up.
Militant may not be the right word, but maybe it is. I'm talking more the flavor of it. Like it's very dry. There's very everything.
You haven't been watching enough Star Trek, have you, man? There's so much, like so many worlds to explore, so many aliens.
Yeah, but who's to say that you'd be that one person who's going to be exploring anything? You could just be like fucking Picard's like like brother and just live in a freaking villa.
I want to enlist in Starfleet, man. That's what because you have that choice.
But things like Firefly or Star Wars have a more frontiersy kind of feel.
I wouldn't. Star Wars, I would. That's too fucking dangerous for me. I would not want to live in the Star Wars universe. There's at least a semblance of peace within the Federation,
Well, you got to go between those times in Star Wars, when the Emperor is still in control, there's kind of peace there, right?
That's real militant right there. All right, Carlos, what you got?
I'm trying to think of something that's not Mass Effect because that was going to be my answer too.
Yes.
It's like Manny mentions, the Citadel is going to get burned down. I mean, but the Citadel is like a speck of dust compared to the rest of the galaxy, man.
Yeah.
So it's like you can go literally almost anywhere.
Have and then it get attacked by hidden Geth that are inside of the fucking inside of the planet for some reason.
Yes.
That's what No Man's Sky does best, man. But I wouldn't say No Man's Sky. Yeah, I guess I'll just stay with Mass Effect.
All right, fair enough. Brian, what about you?
I don't know. Like, again, as you guys said, like, video game worlds are freaking dangerous.
Yeah, man.
Brett, what was that one?
Project Cars world. It's just the
Project Cars.
Yeah,
that's just like
it's just the world that's inhabited by cars, no people.
Yeah, no, there's nothing outside of that. You know, the boundaries. That's it. That's the entire world.
Look, your world is cars.
The burnout world. That'd be insane.
Yes.
Ashes everywhere.
Yes.
There you go.
No, Brett. What was that like ultra like SJW game that came out that you didn't like? The one where like you can like choose like not to kill people.
Oh,
God.
Story, right?
What's that?
Wasn't it something story?
Oh, I gotta look this up.
Wait, Undertale?
Yeah. Undertale.
Yes, that's the
Undertale. Yeah,
Undertale.
Yeah.
That seems safe.
Hey, well, yeah, you get it.
It's a safe space.
You get. Well, the thing is, you do get attacked by monsters.
Yeah, but
you could choose to talk to the monsters.
You could choose to talk to them. You could choose to diffuse the situation by actual talk, which a lot of people in this world do not do.
Yes.
No, in Mass Effect, man, you could go renegade. I get that renegade option. Shoot you right the fucking face.
Yeah, shoot you in the head. Give me a drink.
Fuck that.
Dude, I love Mass Effect because like I'd always try and be like toe the line as a Paragon, but it was always like, look, we're gonna help you, and then somebody would say something, and then I'd be like, what the fuck did you just say to me? And I'd shoot somebody in the face, and then everything would go all awry. Like I want to be a Paragon. I got too much of an attitude problem and a problem.
That was always the issue with the earlier Mass Effect games. You could either be Paragon or or Renegade. See, in the later ones, they gave it as like, okay, you could do some Paragon shit because it's like, come on, dude.
You could do some Renegade shit. It's like,
you could do some Renegade shit.
I'm trying to be a Paragon, but this motherfucker's talking shit right now.
Yeah, this person needs a bullet in the head.
Like I'm gonna have to smack a bitch right now.
Well, because you know what? You know what? Because whenever they do the Paragon things, they always make him so bitchy. Like he literally just has to take it. Like they're like, "Oh, you're nothing, Shepard." It's like, "Oh, really?" Renegade.
Yeah, let me shoot you in the head real quick.
I got a mind blast here that begs to differ, motherfucker. Think I won't throw down the Citadel? I will throw down the fucking Citadel.
Hey man, I got some space magic in my head. I could do this shit to you.
Oh.
I got biotics, motherfucker.
Some space magic in my head.
All right, moving on here. What is your current favorite game right now? Very open-ended question. I kind of don't understand it. Like.
Well, what is your what game are you playing currently that you're liking?
I guess
it's not that hard. Are you liking Resident Evil?
No, because this is the way I took it. Maybe I just read too much. I'm like, what is your favorite game currently? Like, assuming that my favorite game changed, from like.
No, I think he just means what you're. Are you liking? Are you playing a game that you're liking currently?
Am I the only one that interpreted the question that way?
Yes.
Yeah. No. I did too because I'm like I'm not changing my answer for Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, my answer is still Metal Gear Solid 3. That shit ain't changing next week or the week after that. No, I
mean I think he just means out of Gameageddon that's happening right now. Right. What is the game that you're currently liking?
All right, let's go with that one because the other ones you already know my answer. That shit ain't changing.
And we've answered Mass Effect for like the past 3 questions. So
yeah,
yes.
Mass Effect. All right. Resident Evil. But the thing is, but I just beat it. I'm not playing a game right now.
That's weird.
And Persona, I don't know. I can't answer this question. This is tricking me. I don't know.
What is your favorite game that you've played lately?
Okay, I see that I can answer. Final Fantasy 15.
There you go.
All right, good. So let's go with that version of the question. Very confusing question. All right. So Manny, what's your Gravity Rush 2, isn't it?
It's Gravity Rush 2. I'm having a good time and it's a fun game. I like it.
I like the game. All right, Chris, what you got? Which one's been your favorite lately?
Oh, RE7, man.
Yes.
I didn't think Capcom had this shit in them, man. I'm shocked.
But by the way, they did have it in them. It's just about getting the guy who made Resident Evil Revelations 1 to make an actual friggin' Resident Evil game.
Oh.
I'm gonna say it, out of all those recent Resident Evil games, Resident Evil Revelations was the better one. It was so good that they released it on PlayStation 3 and Xbox.
And on PC, baby.
And on PC.
No, it was really good, but let me tell you that none of the writing in this game sounds like English. And you know what I'm talking about.
There's the reason for that. The guy who wrote the game, this is the first time in the franchise history, they got a Westerner. They got the guy who wrote the Fear games.
Oh, okay. There you go. I'm like, yo, man, some Western guy wrote this shit.
Yep.
That
writing, gameplay wise, it felt Japanese, right? Writing wise, that did not feel Japanese at all. So I looked it up. I looked into it. I'm like, oh, the guy who wrote the Fear games wrote this shit. There you go.
Yes. I will. I don't know. I don't think this is a spoilery thing. There's an Evil Dead joke in the game.
Yeah, there is.
And I'm like, the Japanese did not fucking write this.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of instances.
You mean the part with the chainsaw? You mean the part with the chainsaw where he just says, yeah.
He there's something in there, there's a bunch of little instances Japanese guy didn't write this shit. They, it's just too insider baseball American. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there you go. Resident Evil. All right, Carlos, what about you? What's your favorite game you've played lately?
Do visual novel games count?
Sure, it's a game.
Sure, why not?
I'm currently playing Steins Gate Zero, man, and I can't have enough of it. It's just continuing the story. It's like playing a game that, it's a visual novel. You're just reading stuff, and it has voice acting occasionally. So, and it's like my favorite series of all time, like my favorite anime series. So, yeah, I got to say that. Yeah. And I can't say Heroes of the Storm.
No, you can't say that. By the way, Big Daddy X already answered for Brian. It's Warframe.
Actually, it's actually not. Warframe has been doing a lot of stupid things lately, so it's fallen off the top 10 for me.
Yeah. Damn, that's a shame.
But since I'm talking, I actually don't have one because, again, Uncharted 2 was taking over what I was playing. So, but now with that done, I think the next game on my list is Doom. So I think I'll prerequisite this question with It's Doom, since that will be a good game from what I've been hearing.
Yeah, Doom is fucking brilliant, man. Oh, by the way, I should have looked at this earlier. For games we want to live in, game worlds, Big Daddy X said the Yakuza world. That would be a funny world to live in, man. You just run around beating the shit out of
wouldn't it just be Japan?
No, but it's like a more exaggerated Japan. You go around beating the shit out of
From people say Japan is not that different from how nutty Yakuza world is.
Yeah, they might be right about that. All right, so let's move on here. Next question. This is a funny one. If you had the extra cash, would you buy the Nintendo Switch?
Tony can't answer that because he already bought a Nintendo Switch.
The shit.
And
as a matter of fact, I actually canceled my order on Best Buy and bought it on Amazon with the double color ones because the pre-orders went up for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
So I can't answer that one.
For me, what I was going to do, I wasn't going to buy a Switch right away because I do want to play the new Zelda game. I wanted to buy the special edition of the Zelda game. I was going to sit on it until, for a little while until I got some money to buy the actual console. But unfortunately, the special edition of Zelda, sold out in 1 minute. And I just said, oh, well, whatever. So I'm not buying it right now.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, it'll just go on my original timetable, which will be maybe way later on.
Yeah.
Or maybe never.
All right. What about the rest of you guys? Me and Carlos are not included in this. We already fucking bought the shit.
Since it's coming out in March, that's not necessarily a bad time to do one of those whole sit outside the store kind of thing. So I might actually camp out on release night and pick up a couple and then flip them and basically use that. You pick up 3, flip 2, and you've paid for your whole setup.
You better watch out with that because they might just limit the stock for each person.
Well, that's why you bring more than one person with you.
Oh, there you go.
Whoa. You buy your buddy, some food. Like, hey man, just hang out with me on this line, and we'll go get some. I'll pay for dinner. Bam.
Yeah, I'll pay for dinner. Get some beer. Everybody grab a Switch. I'll throw it up on eBay when the inevitable shortages come. Make enough money to to buy my Switch back and pay for my controller and my game and of Zelda, and pretty much at that point I've gotten myself a free copy. That, or if I decide that I don't care that much, I'll just wait until I run across one in the wild, and I'm sure I'll just be like, hey, there's one here at Target. Okay, fuck it, because I want to play the Zelda. They do have me trapped there, and I'm actually not. I've been for the idea of a portable gaming system for a while. Like, will I plug this thing into my TV? Probably almost never. But do I look at it as like one of the better handheld systems coming out? Yeah, I think I actually do. And Vita is a great handheld system, but one of their problems is the games on it are, I don't want to say lacking, but they're sparse in places, and they come out almost seemingly randomly. It'll be nice that every game that comes out, although that won't be many, on the Switch will all be portable games. So that's good.
All right, Brian, what about you?
The answer is always the same whenever people ask me about new systems. Depends on the games. Like,
even if they give you money for it, it's like, here's money, you can buy the system.
It'll just be a paperweight. Like, if I do, because if there's no games that I want to play, then what's the point?
Yeah, no, that's a good answer.
Well, there'll be the Smash Brothers. We all know that.
I'm not a fan of Smash. Totally knows that.
Smash.
Okay. You like Zelda?
Never really played one before.
Brian, you never really played Nintendo in the past, right?
I had a SNES, but I never really played like exclusives. Just mainly like, well, yeah, I had like a Mario game, and I think one of the Street Fighter 2s. I can't remember which one it was, but no, not really.
Right. Not so really in your case, you just don't. There's no Nintendo franchise that really grab you anyway. I guess.
Yeah, what games are we excited? Like, I know I want the Zelda and the Pokemon that's inevitably going to come out on. Like, I know the first one's just going to be a port from the Game Boy, but it'll be an updated port from the Game Boy, and it may have online battling, and that'd be cool. But I'd like to play the inevitable Game Boy that comes out on Switch, as well as Zelda. I'm trying to think, I'm not interested in Mario game. I play Smash. I mean, there's a certain mock-up of games that we know are just going to come out for the system.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, the Zelda game. This will be my second Zelda game I've ever played, by the way. The Mario game that's coming, because it's a platforming game. I like those. And then after that, I don't know what's going to happen. I want there to be like a proper Metroid game, even a Metroid Prime. That would be good. A new Donkey Kong game would be nice. A new is the thing, and it's all just games I kind of know about.
That's the time when you buy the system, when they have
there's nothing. That's what I'm telling people. Like, I just bought it because it's my job, but you don't buy this fucking thing right now. Like, wait at least until the fall, when they're gonna have shit like Mario Kart, Mario, the new Super Mario game, Zelda, and a bunch of other shit. The Xenogears I'm getting, or whatever the fuck it's called, Xenoblade. Shin Megami Tensei, I'm excited for that. The Square Enix RPG, that's cool, but that's about it for me. I mainly want to buy a bunch of cool JRPGs that are probably going to be exclusive
there
to this thing.
There used to be a day when a single game, like, do you remember the system sellers? Like, is Zelda a system seller?
To some people it is. My personal belief is there is no such thing as a system seller, but to some people there are. And Zelda is one of them. But a lot of people are saying, fuck it. It doesn't matter if this lineup is sparse. The launch lineup is sparse. We got Zelda. So they're going with that. My whole thing is like, they said, at least have 5 games that you want to play. Minimum 5 games.
Yeah, I'm gonna play I Am Setsuna. I wanted to get that game for the Vita because it was announced for the Vita, but it never came out. So I was like, I guess I'll play it. Like, I was gonna buy it on the PC on Steam, but then I'm like, I'll just get it on the Switch when I heard it was announced for that. Pretend like I'm playing it on my Vita.
Yeah, yo, Freddie, what's up, man? Got to give him a shout out real quick. All right, let's move on. The last question. We didn't answer this. We've told you about this, but we're gonna answer it anyway. He wants to know, and Subgata is the man who came up with the logo for this show.
Yes, where is
Otanime? Basically, we weren't getting like good response for it. Like, okay, I'm just gonna be completely honest with you guys. Putting together Otanime was always a pain in the ass, right? Like just getting everybody together once a month was like such a difficult task in and of itself. And then we didn't really get any payoff for it, like in terms of hits and stuff. Like they just kind of kept going down and down. It's like, why are we gonna put ourselves through all this when nobody's gonna watch it anyway? So we just kill the show, you know?
Well, we didn't really kill the show. There was a plan to do kind of like a semi-annual version of it where
but again, I try to get everybody together. Nobody wanted to get together. It's like fucking Carlos was the only one. Yo, are we doing this tonight? Are we doing this tonight? And
listen, I'm always game to do a show. I'm not, I'm
not worried about you and Chris. I could always get you guys on like nothing, but the main guys I really wanted, they weren't answering. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to go through all this shit. The show's done, Yeah,
Mr. Manga God can't even show up for like two shows in a row.
Always throwing Lorray under the bus. I love it.
Hey, man, listen, part of the reason why we made that show was because of that fool. Because he wanted to do it. That's he isn't that what, like him wanting to join and a couple other guys wanting to join is why we even brought the show back the second time around.
So yeah, that's why, and in general, we've been doing more lean cuts to the site, to not the site, the channel, and just keeping it more gaming because that seems to be the shit you guys really like. So that's where that happened. That's kind of what happened with Spoiler Alert. I'm not going to officially can it yet though, because if something happens, we'll probably do it. But right now, that's kind of done too.
Yeah, a lot of the for Spoiler Alert, a lot of the times what happens is like, because I was game to do a Resident Evil one, but I feel like, Tony probably feels this too. It's like where we do these things and it really just doesn't get anybody talking or anything. It just kind of just sits there. And when, we want you guys to also engage as well as check the content that we're making. So if it's not getting any of your interest, or a lot of your interest, we're probably just going to close them down.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. So sorry to the guys who miss Otanime, but
hey, listen, that's not going to stop you guys from asking us about Otanime questions.
That's what we have Throwdown Your Questions for.
So you can always, if you want to find out what anime, so you could literally ask a question within the format of Otanime and be like, so what are your top 10 animes of this year?
Yeah.
You'd even call up Riku, be like, "Yo, Riku, what's up?"
What we did when we brought this show back this year. Remember, we had him and Lorray. It was like a mini Otanime for a little bit,
Exactly.
So you can still ask us anime shit. We encourage you to do that, obviously. But a dedicated anime show, it doesn't really work, as you guys have shown to us. So just ask us anime shit because there are still fans that want to know about that, and also ask us pop culture stuff. Carlos and I were talking about this. Like nobody's been asking us those type of questions lately. Remember, ask us questions. Granted,
I also feel like it has to do with the content of the actual Throwdown show. If we were talking about more pop culture stuff on the actual Throwdown show, that would also, people would also be more interested in asking, pop culture type questions, I would feel.
But remember, the main focus is obviously video games, but those questions are good. You can ask us those questions. And by the way, Adam's going to join us in a little bit. I guess he finished watching Royal Rumble. He's coming at the ass end of the show, but it's all good. All right. Next question here from Mr. JK Livewire. All right. He goes, after playing Resident Evil 7, did you feel like the series made a comeback? Me, yes. The house, the bakers, and just the atmosphere itself is amazing. And whoever worked on the sound design give them a fucking medal, because some of the sounds are scary, man, especially when you're running away from Jack. I'm already doing Madhouse mode, and this is the first game I'm trying to platinum. P.S. How long did Jack make you stay in one corner till you had the guts to leave? Me, probably 5 minutes till he made me find another corner. Resident Evil definitely brought the fucking series back easily. After Resident Evil 6, that thing was pretty much done, so this definitely brought it back to, what it's supposed to be, a scary motherfucking game, and I know Chris could concur with that one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm genuinely surprised. Like you said, after 6, I thought, nah, they fucked it up. They fucked up, and then Revelations was good, but Revelations 2 is crap, right? So I thought they're not gonna get this right. They're gonna have to reboot the whole thing. That's what I thought. Like maybe they'll wait and they'll reboot it, right? But this and Konami fucked up. They took the PT playbook and ran with it, and this is fantastic.
Did anybody here finish that game?
Yo, Adam, what up, son?
What's up? I watched some bad wrestling. All right, so now so did anybody finish Resident Evil 7?
Yeah, brother, I beat that shit on Friday.
All right, so you finished it. So what do you think? Do you think it's going to continue in this first person?
Oh yeah.
You think? All right. So you got that vibe that they're going to continue.
Oh yeah, because this thing works so well for them. And I heard 10% of the people that played the game played it in VR. That's a lot. I mean, that sound like a lot, but
you think this is going to boost sales in the VR? You think people are going to? This is a selling point that we could see bundles one day of like, oh, get this and get RE7.
I don't know about bundles, but I think it'll boost sales a little. I just realized I can see the fucking T-Mobile thing behind me. Anyway, you
got sponsors, son.
No, because I got a new phone and shit. I'm like Homer Simpson with a squirrel. It's like, oh, look, a squirrel. Just got distracted. But yeah, they're not going back to the other formula for a while. I think they're going to stick with the first person for a little bit until that wears out, and then they got to try something else, you know? Yeah. But you know what's funny? Like with the original Resident Evil games, right? Like it always had those quote unquote tank controls, right, man? You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Up is always up no matter what. Those controls still apply here because it's a first person game, you know? It's first person games are always tankish. What's up?
Was it a 7.7 though?
I actually already put my score in. It's higher than a 7.7.
I think most places gave it higher than that. I mean,
we're gonna talk about it on Thursday again. But yeah, no, for sure. That Resident Evil is the shit. All right.
I want to get it. I just don't know if I would. I don't know. It's one of those games you have to be in a certain state of mind. You know.
Yeah.
You know what?
Have to be, bro.
I'm focused. This is what I don't know. I feel like with Yakuza and all the other shit that I'm playing, I'm like, I'll get to it.
Here's the thing: you don't need to get to it right away. I mean,
that's it. See, there you go. There's no peer pressure, right?
No, man, fuck that. Buy that shit right now. Don't be a pussy.
No, buy it. Yeah, buy it right now when you can buy it later for like way cheaper. I'm sure with all of this, because you have the PlayStation credit card and you have PlayStation, you'll probably get it for like $3 and like
once next month starts, I get another $20. They throw another $20 in my
account. That's how it goes, right? Like Adam, he's this dude, right? He has like angels on his shoulder, right? Man, he's that good angel. He's like, yo, listen, just wait, just chill, and I'm that devil. I'm like, buy that shit now, bitch. I'm gonna stick you with this fork.
Believe me, you're not the only one. I got other people sending messages like, yo, it's too scary for you? Is that why you're avoiding it? Son? Why are you playing these old-ass games with Deadly Tower of Monsters? What the fuck's wrong with you? How old is you? I'm telling you, these people, I had to appear offline because I was just getting tired of people like, yo, didn't you get Yakuza? And you playing some shit? Like, what is that? I'm like, all right, forget it.
And
even now, I got a message. It was like, yo, they blew up your spot. You watching some wrestling? You watching wrestling? I was like, oh my God.
You got some asshole friends.
Oh, man. I do. There's a whole bunch of them. They just give me this. I'm like, yo, I thought.
That's funny. And these are the same guys that gave you shit for being
all the time
on this podcast, right? Like, yo, you're a Sony guy now, motherfucker.
They give me shit for I get shit. I can't. It's a no-win situation. That's what I'm saying. It's like you can never make people happy. You can't say anything nice. I'm like, yeah, I like the Xbox. You know what? Scorpio sucks. What the fuck? You know. They're like, all right, so it is what it is.
Let's move on here. Last question for Mr. JK Livewire. All right, a couple different questions in here actually. So first one is, Tony, what are some of the things that you want Koei to add for you to get interested in Dynasty Warriors again? All right, first of all, I've never liked Dynasty Warriors. I don't know where you came up with that. And
you're here again in there.
Like, whoa, hold on, brother. I never liked those games. The only thing I could do to get me interested in Dynasty Warriors is
I got you mixed up with that.
You would have to change the game so fundamentally that it wouldn't even be Dynasty Warriors anymore. You know, like, yo, make it like Devil May Cry. Then it's not Dynasty Warriors anymore. So that series is just not for me. Like killing millions of dudes and shit, just hacking in, like brainlessly. I'm not into that shit. And then the other thing, hold on, let me finish answer the question. And I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be honest. I don't care about Chinese history. Like for Riku, that's a big thing. Like he likes the whole like historical aspect of it. I'm a history guy. I just don't care about Chinese history. So even that aspect for me is like, So
if it was in a different genre, would you like it? Like, I don't know. Let's say if it was like, I don't know. Let's throw something crazy out there, like the Warriors. Let's say if they redid the Warriors, but on the Destiny's engine.
On Destiny's engine?
Yeah, how crazy would that be? You get off the train and you're walking through the parks. Oh my God, there's motherfuckers everywhere, and you're doing the whole
like, because I'm thinking about the core Dynasty Warriors base, right? I don't even like games like that, like Fist of the North Star. You would figure, Tony, that up your alley. I didn't like it. The One Piece game was a little bit more tolerable. The Zelda one was a little bit more tolerable, but
what about it do you not like exactly? Like, what is the difference in your mind between Devil May Cry and Dynasty Warriors? Is it the combo system? Is it the open world-edness?
I'm glad you brought up Devil May Cry, because that's a limited type of game too. With Devil May Cry, you only really have to fight maybe 5 guys at a time, right? And they take a lot of health, and you have to get creative with your combos and stuff in order to beat them. You have to really think about it. With Dynasty Warriors, you don't need to think at all. Your brain shuts off. You just hit the square button until everything dies. You know, at least the ones I've played, you know.
So you would like smaller groups with better AI.
Better AI, and I need to use different weapons and different combos in order to beat them. Like, I don't just, like, if I just have to use one weapon, like, it gets more like, you know those games that where like you get a 50 million weapons, but you don't really need to use them all. I like the games that force you to use every weapon in your arsenal. It makes you think strategically. Different enemies with different weaknesses and stuff. Like, oh shit, I can't use that weapon against that guy. I have to use this. You know, I want it to be more active, like playing God of War or something. Yeah, like playing God of War or like Devil May Cry or even Ninja Gaiden. You really need to be on top of it. With a game like Dynasty Warriors, my brain literally shuts off after 5 minutes.
Well, I think that the biggest problem I always felt with Dynasty Warriors is just waves of samey sort of enemies that are just there to kind of
the same animations too. You know,
the samey enemies. So it's like you're just being. It's like punching a bunch of wooden dolls that are just standing in your way.
Yeah, they don't actually propose any opposition, really.
Exactly,
you know?
Except for when they used to do those bosses. Where you actually had a boss that you actually had to use different tactics on. But other than that, it's just like kill 10,000 of these husks and then fight the actual person.
Yeah,
Riku is mad right now.
He's mad.
Yeah. I can feel it.
Oh yeah,
Listen to this, just being ultra mad right now.
But I have to agree. I mean,
sorry, Riku.
Well, here's the thing. I can understand that this having the ability to kill 50,000 people with one move, it is empowering, and I think that's where the where a lot of what a lot of people like about those sorts of games, where it's like, I'm so awesome, I could literally kill like 1,000 people standing in my way with this one incredibly awesome move.
Yeah, and I see the appeal of that for sure, and I could understand the people like the simplicity of it too, right? But it's not for me, man. Like, I could get the same like feeling somewhere else, you know.
What if they decided to do that same sort of game with the Batman controls?
They might be better. To be honest, might be better, to be honest, but I don't think it can work with so many guys, to be honest.
What are you talking about? You could just it's literally that game does a lot of the same things, where it's like you're just doing one move on one guy and then until you kill all of them. So what if you had 100 of those guys and you did that too?
But then I'm glad you asked that question, because it leads to the other problem I have with those games. What do? You go into one area, beat the shit out of guys, go into another area, beat the shit out of a bunch of guys, go into another area, beat the shit up. You know what I'm saying? It's just over and over and over and over and over and over again. So it's like, whatever. All right, I want to move on to the second part of the question here. Also to Brett and Riku. Now, my man, JK, I appreciate you asking Riku questions, but he's not a regular member of the show. You just keep that in mind, please. Even though I did reach out to him and he did answer your question, but just keep that in mind. He's not a regular. Riku shows up maybe twice a year, So he goes, also to Brett and Riku, if you were in the same time period as Dynasty Warriors, which one of the 3 kingdoms would you fight for? He goes, me, probably Wei. Okay, so Brett, which one of the 3 kingdoms would you fight for?
I was gonna say Wei. I thought Riku said Wu.
Yeah, Riku did say, well, I'll go for that. So you say Wei. Why do you say Wei?
Because one of my favorite characters, Janeway.
Janeway? I don't know any of these fucking characters.
I don't know much of the backstory. Or at least I don't remember much of the backstory. I just remember.
What color does he wear? Does he have a headband?
No, he wears green and has a trident. Fights with a trident or a spear.
Oh, okay, so that's the dude that shows his chest off, right?
Think so? Maybe.
Let's do a search on him. What's his name again? Wei?
No, that's the kingdom. Oh, so yeah, quickly while you search that. So Riku, his answer was, he goes woo because it has Riku Sun 1 in it. Riku Sun. He goes, also it has Gang Nin, Zhou Tai, and Ling Tong. So he likes the Wu faction because of the characters, especially Riku Sun, who he's named after. By the way, JK, it's not Rico, it's Riku. He's named after a Dynasty Warriors guy, And Brett, he actually asked you this question a couple weeks ago where you weren't here. So he wants you to know, what is it? Yeah, I'm just gonna read this shit. Can you mention to Brett the question I asked a couple weeks ago, that if Koei was taking advice from the fans, what would they want added, removed in the upcoming Dynasty Warriors game? So yeah, what would you want in the next Dynasty Warriors game, Brett, to get you back into the series?
A more fluid field of combat. I feel like the combat needs overhauled. I feel like there's a mild disconnect to it. Expand the combos a little bit. Make it slower and weightier. Make it a little bit more. I hate to say it, but dad of worry, where each of your hits feels like it lands a little bit harder and reverberates a little bit more. I know this would slow down the series from some of the overhyped, super fast action pacing that it's come to be known for, but I feel like the games have gotten progressively faster, and I feel like there's become this disconnect between hitting somebody with a spear and really feeling like you're hitting somebody with a spear. It kind of has the Dragon Ball effect, where bigger and more for the sake of being bigger and more, which leads you a little bit further away from the substance. So I would I'd improve the fighting system through hitboxes, recoil, weight all your weapons, expand your combo system, give it more of a pull more in the line of the Soul Calibur feeling. And yeah, to a certain extent, what Tony says, like, less enemies would be good if they had better AI. And it would probably be a little bit more historically accurate, because I feel like a lot of these numbers are a little overblown. I could be completely wrong. I'm not up to date in my Chinese history, but there was a lot of small skirmishes, and you could cover a lot of those kinds of things. And yeah, so just fancy up the combat system a little bit. Make the whole point of the game of beating up people a little bit more satisfying, because right now it feels a little bit dated.
Yeah. By the way, Brett, everything you said, that's what I want to, like, wait to the actual combat, to the weapons and stuff. Like, if you have a weapon, like basically an action feel like a sword, that would be good too. And also, yeah, less enemies, more variety in the actual gameplay itself, more different objectives and stuff, not just constantly just running through millions of guys, But then again, wouldn't that fundamentally change what a Dynasty Warriors game is? So that's why I'm like,
not really. I mean, Dynasty Warriors isn't necessarily about the number of enemies on screen. That was a limitation on the original games that they strived to overcome. They wanted you to feel like you were fighting in an army. And yeah, there should be a lot of guys because it's an army. But the point of a Dynasty Warriors game isn't just to plow through a series of enemies. It's to have to strategically work your way to certain checkpoints at certain times to make sure that the army advances or doesn't advance the way that you want to. There is this strategic RTS kind of element to it, like where if you fail to hold a bridge, then you need to make sure that you get to the side and you don't get flanked, because if you get flanked, no matter how badass a fighter you are, your general's going to lose. Like, it's set up in a way that things are timed, that you have to make choices. And I'd like to see them maybe bring that forward a little bit, but I'd really hate to see them dumb it down to the point where everybody sees it. And I realize that sounds derogatory towards you, Tony, and I'm sorry, but like, I don't want them to shove that part in your face. I like that being subtle and you actually having to think about what you're doing, because there were several times in that game where you're just railing against people and killing and you're like, man, I'm racking up combos and I'm beating up more bad guys than I ever have, and then all of a sudden you lose your mission. You're like, well, what the fuck happened?
Oh man. All right, so there you go. Where are we now? We got a couple extra questions here, which is nice. Big Daddy X All right, Horizon or Zelda, which will play the best, or which will review the best?
Come on now, which one's gonna play the best? Obviously, it's gonna be Horizon.
Yeah, I can't vouch for Zelda, obviously, but Horizon feels so fucking smooth, man. Like that game is gonna be crisp.
I'll have to say Horizon, just for the plain fact I know how a Zelda, 3D Zelda games control, and they're fairly stiff.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm glad you said that, because again, even though I only have experience with one Zelda game, Ocarina of Time on 3DS, I have a feeling this game's gonna control just as stiff,
Yeah, they're very stiff. Like they're all like Ocarina of Time. You thought that was stiff. That the Twilight Princess was also very stiff. Even Wind of the whatever the
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker was very stiff. Same thing with the Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
So so they all kind of follow this sort of language that they don't really seem to change from.
Yeah, where you kind of slightly have to fight against the controls a little bit. I wasn't feeling that at all when I played Horizon. It was just like everything I wanted to do just came out,
Yeah, and it's all scripted.
Well, that wasn't scripted. It's laid out the way you expect an action game to be. X's, jump, circles, dodge, attack.
So you're saying that if I go up to like a carcass to try and loot it, I don't press an input button to loot the carcass and then slide magnetically 6 inches into the left to have myself like this pre-cinematic lean down part where I do whatever gutting I need to do, just like fucking Far Cry.
Are you saying that Zelda somehow doesn't do that too? Where
Zelda's gonna do that too, bro.
Where essentially you won't even have to do that. You'll just go like he'll just like do the grabbing animation, and then they'll do that thing. You've got pelt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
every game does that to an extent, though. So you can't really fault it.
It does, but one of the things I like about the new Zelda, and one of the reasons I will actually hesitate to say it may play better, not look better, but play better, is it seems to give you variable options in how you want to affect the world. And that is a big deal. Like I've always loved Zelda games, and I love the fact that this Zelda game takes a bunch of cues from survival games where you can like, if there's an enemy that's bothering you and like prowling through, tall grass, you can go start a fire, build a torch, run over, light the grass on fire, and burn that motherfucker out. Like I like the situational awareness that the game brings, and I think that is the heart of gameplay. I feel like Horizon will be really fun. I feel like it'll look very pretty, but it'll be a series of highly polished together mini games that aren't as quite interactive. I won't be allowed to do what I want to do as much as I will be brought through an interactive set piece, I guess.
You realize it's an open world game, right?
Yeah, it's set in an open world, but it's
all right, just let me know that.
I think it's going to be like the Far Cry series, which the Far Cry series is set in an open world, but it's far from sandboxy in any way.
Yeah,
but I don't think that Zelda in that fashion is really that sandboxy.
Yeah, I don't think Zelda's going to be probably more scripted than Horizon.
No, but Zelda I think will be sandboxy in the way that you can approach the situation.
What gives you that impression?
The ability to manipulate your environment.
But you could do that in Horizon too, though.
Can you?
Yeah, you could do that. Like you could use specific things again, like because remember you're fighting against like robots and stuff, so you could set up like electromagnetic shit like traps for them.
Yeah, okay, that's not the same thing. That's setting up.
He means like I'm sure. We'll just say this for the sake of conversation. It's like, okay, you have like these monsters standing on the bottom of a cliff. This is something they haven't said that you can do, and I'm making this up.
All right.
You have a guy standing at the bottom of a cliff. You decide, okay, you know what? I'm going to blow up the cliff and kill those monsters with it. I don't think you can do that in Zelda, but I think that's the sort of creative of fighting that he means. Like in other words, he gave the example. It's like, okay, the fire in the grass where you could use it to kill the enemies, or this is one thing that you can do where it's like, okay, you want to get to a higher level. Like that's you can't normally climb up, so you can set the grass on fire and use that so you could use a Link's little glider thing to get higher because of the heat.
Yeah. By the way, Pavarotti, like, what are you getting at, bro? Ask us a question right here. Shit. I think he's like, do you guys answer questions or not? Yeah. Ask a fucking question. Oh man. Okay, what about, let's move on to the next part here. Which one do you think will review the best?
I think Zelda.
I think I'm gonna go with Zelda too, because people, they always go with Zelda,
And maybe. I doubt it though.
I think it's Zelda. And again, I'm not saying this.
I think it's going to be the flaws of the Switch system that hurts Zelda. I think that's what's going to come out.
You don't think that the fanboyism is going to look past that?
No, because it's going to come down to controls and probably performance, and that's all going to link to the Switch itself. So people are going to be like, wow, this is a great game. It would have been better on something else. And I think it's going to review in that way.
The Wii U was utter shit when it came to controls, and look how well that the Zelda game did.
But this looks even worse. This looks even worse. I mean, they have that thumbstick up here, and it doesn't seem comfortable.
No, man. I mean, I haven't used the Joy-Cons yet, but the Wii U gamepad was the worst thing to play video games in.
Yeah. Here's the thing: a lot of Wii U games got really high scores, even though you had to use that shitty Wii gamepad. So I don't think that's even going to be a factor. They're going to be like, "Oh, this is Zelda. Let's give it a high score," So I
don't think it's going to be like the Zelda. I do think that people would be more receptive to the Zelda game rather than the Horizon.
I mean, it seems to me like the Horizon is going to be a very polished game of the type that we've had before. Like, the thing that really struck me about Zelda is like, I can chop down trees to cross clearings or paths or rivers, or knock them down and set them on fire, or build traps. I can roll boulders down hills. I can set up like ingenuitive little traps, and that just seems like why is that not a thing in video games? Why can I not just walk up to trees in video games and fucking chop them down?
You could do it in Minecraft. Actually, you could punch them, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's Minecraft, but like, why can't I do that kind of thing? Why don't I have that kind of freedom to affect the world just even in that basic way? Like, why can't I cut down a tree, use it as a log, roll it over, and then kind of lean it against a rock, and then climb to the top to get to a place I wouldn't normally be able to get to?
Well, they didn't think about that. Remember, games are always limited in some way,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is Zelda is the first, and this is why I'm excited about it. It's kind of throwing off the limitations of those shackles. They're saying, okay, there's a system in place for affecting the world. Granted, a very limited one, but there's a system in place for affecting the world. Use your imagination, and they're not concerned like if you roll a bunch of boulders down a mountain and beat a mini boss that way. Like, I don't think they're really concerned about a lot of that. In fact, I think they'd encourage it. And that's what I want to see in my video games is build a base system that can be dynamic and engaging. So it's a very limited aspect of that, but we're comparing that to a game that's very polished and more of the same.
Yeah.
Peace.
Appropriate.
So what you're saying is that Zero Dawn will pretty much just play it safe. Like it will just like it'll do everything that's been done before, but it'll do it very nicely.
That's what I'm thinking.
And it'll do it like very well, but it won't do anything that's like, oh, this is like the next step.
I agree with that game. I think that Zero Dawn will be a very pretty game, but I don't think it will. Other than the aspects that we've already seen, and it won't jump any further than that.
No, it's going to be like a highly polished experience that you already experienced, which is there's nothing wrong with that, obviously.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, I can see that, and it's something that just makes me not interested in what it is.
Well, I mean, you haven't been interested in it from the get-go anyway,
I'm passing on it.
The only time that I was actually interested in was when it was first revealed, and I was like, oh wow, look, Guerrilla Games is making a new game, and they have gameplay. How cool! As I've seen more stuff of it, it just doesn't say anything that really I want to see or play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm passing on it too.
Like more stuff I see, like
shit,
the more stuff I see of the game, like more I just get like, oh, so it's a video game. Like that type of You know what I mean? It's like, oh, so
by the way,
video
I want you guys to remember this entire conversation right now. Next time you think we're the Sony down, okay? Because there's only the only person that seems to be hyped about this game is me. Everybody else doesn't give a shit.
Please, I am too.
Please, okay.
I don't like dinosaurs in my games. They make me uncomfortable.
Now, give me dinosaurs. That's the main reason I'm hyped for this game. Okay, here's the thing. Hold on. Okay, let's start.
Dinosaurs? You don't like dinosaurs?
I do like them. I just
Let's
don't
take
like
3 steps backwards.
I just don't like riding them or killing them.
It's dinosaurs.
Just something.
See, here's my thing about Horizon Zero Dawn. It's very easy. I like dinosaurs. I like robots. Dinosaur robots sold. That's all I'm good. You know, give me that shit.
I don't know. It just looks like Battlefield Earth to me.
Oh shit.
Well, nothing can look like
The
Gravity
man
Rush.
animals.
Yeah, nothing could look like Gravity Rush.
Damn, Carlos.
Yo, man, nothing can look like Gravity
below the
Rush.
belt right there.
Right, you kicking them in the buku.
Hey, listen. I'm just saying. At least Gravity Rush is a unique open world game, as opposed to Horizon, which literally is just a pick and choose as to what open world aspects you can throw into a game.
Yo, man, hit that hate button, man, because you just hating on it right now.
I'm hating on it. Yeah, where's my hate button? I'm gonna say this hate.
You hating?
Oh man! Hey!
There's only so much you can do in like with open world stuff until like I mean you can push the boundaries like Brett said. You could get more crafting and stuff involved. Depends on which way you want to push it, right? But at least Horizon, they're trying different things. Like the enemies and the environments are somewhat unique, you know.
But then that's not trying different things. That's just a different skin on the same stuff that we've seen before.
And it's not bad?
Well, if it's like the same game that we've like, or if it's like mostly the same stuff that we've seen before, then it's like, okay. Nah,
Well, you can say the same thing between The Order and Resident Evil VII. It's like, oh, it's just a first-person shooter. Oh no, the other one's a third-person, but
yeah, exactly.
But it's just like a really linear shooting game.
That was the issue that people had with The Order 1886, though. That it was just a kind of by the number, with all the beautiful graphics aside, it was just a by the numbers, a third-person shooter.
But that, I mean, Resident Evil 7 is just a linear by the it's essentially the same thing. It just adds a different skin with a horror aspect.
For Resident Evil 7, it's going back to what made Resident Evil interesting.
But it's the same formula as The Order. It's just different way to do it. You know, it's a linear shooter game that does different.
No, Resident Evil is not a shooter.
It's not a shooter game though, man.
No, Resident Evil 6 was a shooter, and you could say Resident Evil. You could say You can compare Resident Evil 6 to the Order 1886. Excuse me.
Yeah, but I think the Order 1866 bit off Resident Evil 4.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's the prequel. That's the prequel.
I think the Order 1886 definitely feels like what era of games it came from, where it's like it's that action adventure third person shooter, like Resident Evil 6,
based on a true story,
like Resident Evil 6 or Gears of War. But to be honest, Gears of War still does that sort of genre better. Even Uncharted does that better than the Order does. But I still enjoyed The Order.
That damn widescreen, the borders, man, pissed me off. Top border.
Oh, the fact that it letterboxed the whole game.
Yeah, the letterbox.
It made it look like a movie,
I didn't need that shit.
But then the aspect ratio was not a valid aspect ratio. That's my problem.
Correct.
Like, it's not an aspect ratio that exists. So I hate when people say, "Oh, but it looks like a movie." It's like, but it's not an aspect ratio that's a movie.
Whoa! What do you mean it's an aspect ratio that doesn't exist?
Look at the aspect ratio of the Order. Like, no movie is ever like exists in that aspect ratio.
Brian, have you watched movies that came out before the year 2000? Like, that's how movies used to be. They used to be really widescreen.
That's the cinema. That's the CinemaScope aspect ratio.
I will go and look at the aspect ratio, and I'll show you.
Yeah, he's gonna look really stupid right now. I will go. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, average the aspect ratio for a television, right, is 16:9. The aspect ratio that the Order was using, a lot of movies used to use was 233. right? That's a different aspect.
And that's the CinemaScope aspect ratio that was used on stuff like Lawrence of Arabia.
Brian, you have the Dark Knight Returns, right? Pop that shit in. There you go. And that's that. Except for the IMAX moments, it has that same aspect ratio. You know,
you're talking about the comic book.
No, the Dark
Knight Rises,
the movie, motherfucker.
It's the Dark Knight Rises.
No, even though I think that one does too, but the Star Wars movies had that aspect ratio. I believe the new one does too.
Not the last one though. The JJ one doesn't have it, and then that was the one thing that the people made a lot of made a big deal about, that it wasn't in the same aspect ratio as the other Star Wars films.
The 233 aspect ratio. We're getting really off topic right now. All right, so let's move on here. Okay, if Resident Evil can't sell VR, then what game or app will?
It's easy. Table tennis. Table tennis.
Table tennis?
Damn right. Think about that. That makes the most sense. You don't have to get up and do a lot. You need to use your hands in your head so you can move with your head and then swing the paddles with your arm. There you go. Rockstar Table Tennis VR. I like hotcakes. I want to cut. My idea.
By the way, shout out to Shanatsky. He said the same thing. CinemaScope. That's the aspect ratio. They didn't make it up. That's an established side. Most movies used to be in that for a while.
Well, no, CinemaScope was also a pretty rare thing because CinemaScope involved using like 3 different cameras and overlapping images on top of each other.
Most of the movies we saw like in the 80s and stuff in that aspect ratio, like the Star Wars movies were, I'm pretty sure the Indiana Jones movies were.
The Star Wars, Star Wars and Indiana Jones, those were in it. But then again, you got to look at the guys that are making those films.
Yeah,
they're kind of doing throwback cinema.
Yeah,
they were.
But anyway, on to the Resident Evil. Yeah, what else will sell VR other than that? Because it seemed to
PT
me like
would have.
Oh shit, that's true.
I mean, Silent Hills.
Hell no, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
why not?
Because it's a horror game. People, I mean, I don't think a horror game is what's going to sell VR. Because most people won't.
But some people are wanting to buy VR just for Resident Evil. So there you go.
Yeah, but that's because there's nothing else.
What's that killer app that you have that use VR with? We'll have a bunch of cheesy mini games, and then I got this full-on game.
That's gonna scare the shit out of you, and you'll probably only spend like 5 minutes, and then you'll take it off and be like, "Yo, I can't do this." But that's what I'm saying. Like someone with table tennis, you get your buddies coming over, and like, "Yo, you want to see something crazy?" And you put it on, and be like, "Oh, this is fun." You play a little bit.
Nah, I mean,
with VR.
I would say, here's the thing. You could play virtual table tennis, or you could just call a bunch of your friends over and play real table tennis.
Real table tennis, yeah.
Exactly. And you know what you could do? You can make. You know what you could do in real life though? You just put grids on everything, so everything feels digital.
Yes.
I mean, table tennis is as a game in real life is accessible enough that you can like play it in real life. So like there will be no point.
We're thinking about an experience. I would feel like a card, like some sort of card game, would be a definite push for that. Which what games have been using the VR in it? I can't remember off the top of my head.
The only thing I'm thinking about right now is like I'm imagining people playing real table tennis, right? And then they all stop to play it in VR. Does it ever remind you of something else?
Yes.
I don't know. Anyway, what app do you think will sell this fucking thing at this point? Game or app that'll sell VR?
I think the thing about VR is that it's a definite difficult to sell in a lot of ways, because we're not only people trying to figure out the things that they can do with it, but also try to make interesting experiences. It's like that's why a lot of the VR games to this point are just kind of like cheesy little mini games. I don't know. You can theoretically make a point-and-click adventure in VR, or like a forensic game in there, but would that be interesting to anybody?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
I mean, Batman kind of tried to do that a little bit, but at the same time, it was just like it wasn't really that impressive. It was just like you picking up items and rotating them around.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else want to jump in on this real quick? Brett, I'm looking at you.
I've said it before. Oh. I've said it before. I said it again. Fucking Fallout.
Yep, because there you go. Fallout. Get Fallout. If Fallout doesn't sell VR, I don't know what will.
Well, there is porn.
Yeah, well, that's also
yeah. See, there you go. Now that's the thing that will sell
VR. Porn. There you go. He did say app. Pornhub app. There you go.
Not Pornhub app, just VR porn. I think. There you go.
And then like a little stick on the side that every once in a while squirts like booty juice. Like,
yeah,
booty juice.
Right in your eye.
Yeah, just get a free video every month for your PSN Plus subscription.
Yeah, and then every once in a while a little thing pops up. It's like, smell your finger. You're like, what?
All right, let's move on here. Mr. Techno Fabulous. Right. Considering Sony has dominated console sales and pretty much been the lead platform this generation, will they want to give up power to the Scorpio, or does it even matter at this point? A little bit of a convoluted question there. I took it as, will the PS4 lose ground to the Scorpio?
It depends on what the Scorpio shows off. You can have all the power in the world, but if you don't have anything to show it off, to show that power, then who cares?
Yep, no, you're 100% right
agree.
about that.
I agree.
And
what
it's
is
like Scorpio game? Scorpio's not going to have anything exclusive on it, so
yeah. What is it? What is it? What is that thing that says this is the Scorpio? Because to be honest, even Sony didn't have that thing that said this is why you should own a PlayStation Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And since they're hyping it like it's better than the Pro, then you have to show it. You have to show something. You know, and they're going to have to.
Crackdown.
And that's
this
the
is
thing.
Crackdown running in Scorpio.
They're going to have to do the unthinkable, and they're going to have to do that comparison video. They're going to have to. They're going to be like, yo, look, this is a Pro, and this is a Scorpio. They're going to have to do it.
Oh, it's going to have Digital Foundry's going to do that shit.
They're going to do that thing right away.
No, I know they're going to do it, but I mean, Sony, when Microsoft announces, they're going to have to explain why and show it. Like, this is why this is the best. You know, what's already out there.
Well, they're probably going to put one of those videos together where it's like, this is the way it looks on Xbox One, and this is what it looks like in Scorpio mode.
You know, it's like when you see these commercials and they're like, oh, our competitors do this, and competitors, yeah, whatever. Well, they're going to have to just acknowledge the competitor.
They can't. I don't think the funny thing about Sony and Microsoft is they admit each other exists, but they don't mention each other in their ad campaigns.
Yeah.
You know, I know they're not going to say it in the ad.
They don't do like the old Crash the old Crash Bandicoot commercials. Literally, you had this guy in a suit standing in front of Nintendo with a bullhorn.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting when that happens. You know, definitely going to be interesting. It'll be funny if it just looks like a PC and it's a tower. It's like, here you go, Scorpio. It's a computer. Mind blown.
Yeah, we really need to know more information. Like price point, which is one of the biggest factors, we still haven't found out what are they going to advertise on that thing, like you guys have been talking about. What's the game? Like it's crazy because Sony, like last year when they were advertising their console, they were just advertising games that haven't even come out yet. Like they were advertising Spider-Man. Like that game hasn't come out yet, so like it's pretty interesting, and they did really well that those last 2 months. So it's interesting what Microsoft is going to advertise, because they haven't even announced shit.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's the thing. It's like this is a hard question to answer right now because we don't know enough about the Scorpio, you know? So it's very difficult to tell us. So I'm like, I don't know how to answer this shit. But I don't, again, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what the price is.
Just use the default answer all these Xbox are using. Wait for E3, bro. Wait for E3.
Yep. That'll change everything. All right. And the last question here for Mr. Pavarotti Salino. I thought he was trolling us. I had to edit his question a little bit, but I got to the heart of it, I think. Okay, he goes, I hate that they wash the gaming industry down with first-person shooters. They all look the same, yet an online game like Max Payne 3 isn't even on the map. Do you feel like they could promote more third-person option shooters like Star Wars Battlefront does? That'd be nice, sure, you know. Here's the thing. For me, it's like, either third person or fucking first person, they're going to be competitive multiplayer anyway. So it's the same shit, really. Me personally, I don't care.
Wait, you know? I'm confused. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I got a little confused too.
Sounds like he doesn't like first person
an online
multiplayer.
Game called Max Payne 3 isn't even like. I thought everybody knew about Max Payne. It was a very successful franchise that spawned the idea of bullet time, which influenced a series of games.
Well, he's talking about Max Payne. He's talking about how Max Payne 3
did that one.
Max Payne 3 has an online competitive mode, but nobody talks about it.
Yeah, because it's 4 years old.
Yeah, it's old.
It's 5 years old now.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't even realize it had a
And you have
online
the
mode. I have the game. I just didn't touch it. So, but then again, that's me. I don't care for online.
Yeah, I played a little bit, but it was just for the story. For Max Payne, for me, it was always the story. That's what.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, let's just be honest. Uncharted has online too. No one talks about that shit. People talk about the story, you know. So I think for those games, it's just not more. Call of Duty, it has a story, but nobody gives a shit about it, you know. So that's why. But I don't think first-person competitive games are as big as they used to be. Like, remember when that was all you got? Now they're not as big as they used to be, you know. So
well, he's also saying, like, why don't we see more third-person games than first-person games? And we're starting to. A big problem is in highly competitive games, being in third-person kind of gives you the edge, as you're able to see over low walls and see when somebody comes up behind you. And a lot of people who are competitive shooters, who are into competitive shooters, find that to be a problem.
Yeah.
And you especially see this difference in like games like DayZ or Arma, where you have servers that allow third person and servers that don't allow third person. And yeah, the problem with third person is you can sneak up to a wall or a bush and kind of look over or lean over and see around a corner when you're not supposed to be able to. So as far as competitive shooters, yeah, that's going to naturally drift towards first person because you can't, you know, wall sight or, you know, wall hack or whatever it is, you know, see around a fucking corner when you're not supposed to be able to, or see over a ridge. You know, the idea in a first person game is if you can see somebody, they can see you. And that's not always the case in a third person game. So that being said, I personally like third person games more. So I would like to see more of them out there like that.
Yeah. All right. We're about to wrap up, but I'm going to answer this one quick question from Gaming Through the Decades. What if the Scorpio plays PC games? It will, because PC will play Scorpio games.
Or some PC games.
Yeah, Microsoft and Steam are not going to share their wallet, but
yeah,
you'll be able to play the same games on both of them if you buy them twice.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure you won't be able to play like PC exclusive games, you know. But yeah, like what is it? PC will have Scorpio games, but Scorpio won't have all PC games.
Oh, not by a long shot.
Yeah, no way. You know, what's the library of PC games? Like thousands and thousands and thousands of games. You know,
that's that when the Xbox first came out, I always thought that was an option, that you could play a PC game on the original Xbox. But then after that, as it went on, it's like, oh, okay, they're not doing that. It's just a closed system that doesn't allow for that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right, yeah.
See, the one thing I wish a lot of publishers would do is that if just recognize that if, let's say, especially a digital copy, because it's easier to track, if you purchase on one console, that since it's with your profile and they always connect on the server end right behind once you load up the game, that it recognizes that, and if you go to another console, a different manufacturer, whatever it is, you can re-download the game and it sees that you made that one purchase. It sucks that you have to purchase the same game on multiple platforms. That's stupid. Wish they got rid of that.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of bring up, like, I'm looking at the top sellers here, and the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
The top sellers for what? Sorry,
just top sellers of all games are console-able games that can be played on console. After that, H1Z1, Astroneer, Galactic Civilizations, Civ 6.
Or you're talking about PC games, right?
I'm talking about games on Steam right now.
Okay, gotcha.
Like of the top 20, about half of them could not be played on any system right now. Like you can't play Astroneer on any of the systems right now. You can't really play RimWorld on any of the systems right now. In theory, you should be able to, but that may just be too processor heavy a game. Planet Coaster, Factorio, Galactic Civilizations, don't think you could play that one. Rust, I know you can't play that one. Depth, I know you can't play that one. So yeah, you're never gonna see an Xbox even partially eclipse PCs because they just don't put enough engine in them Xboxes. They don't put enough asset in them bitches.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, fuck, it can't run Tabletop Simulator, so.
Oh man! All right, so let's start wrapping this up. There's a couple of things here. Okay, so please check out the co-op episode 192. It's actually already on the Coalition's site, YouTube site. Your boy was on it. We were talking about a bunch of different things, that we kind of talked about on Throwdown, but we just reiterated it again. So that was a good episode. What did we? Oh yeah, by the way, their reaction to the Avengers Marvel game was very different than the reaction we had on this show. So I was glad I was there because they were all hyped for it. Everybody on Throwdown was like, fuck that shit. So that was kind of fun to hear their perspective.
Why were they so hyped?
Because it's Avengers by Crystal Dynamics. That's all. That's the reason I'm happy. I'm like, go do it. So that's the reason they were hyped too.
Okay. Which guys are these again? Because I didn't hit them up.
Gary, Richard, and Max, and
co-op guys.
Yeah, the co-op. Yeah, I said the co-op.
I like the co-op guys, man. Time to deflate some bubbles.
Hey, Brian, they said they want you back on the show, by the way. So get on there. They actually want all you guys on the show eventually. Shit. I'm like the only ambassador running out to all these other shows. Okay, so a little bit of an announcement to make. Tony's Take, which has always been exclusive to the Coalition's YouTube, will now be on Throwdown YouTube. This is part of us expanding a little bit, like it's still going to be about gaming, obviously, but it's something, because the thing is with YouTube, people want daily things, right? We can't obviously do a fucking podcast every day, right? It's impossible. So this will be a good test to see if you guys will like that sort of content, so that'll be that. And I'm still going to post them up on the Coalition, obviously, but it'll just be Tony's Take on Throwdown. But since it's on Throwdown, which is our channel, I'm going to be a little freer to talk how I really want to talk. Like when I was doing it on Coalition, I still kept it real, obviously, but there were certain things I'm like, Tony, you might get the Coalition in trouble. Don't say it. This is us. It doesn't matter, so I'm going in, And the last thing is we're going to be having new Throwdown intros and such coming this week for the YouTube channel here. And you're going to have a very familiar voice doing it for us.
For you folks who've been watching the old version of the Throwdown.
Yeah, I'm gonna break the sounds. It's Jeezy. We got him back.
Yes,
that's why I was laughing.
Jeezy's gonna be doing this. You're gonna hear that sweet voice. Oh man, no, it's not fucking Jeezy. That'll be funny. And the last thing, we shall hopefully have Hip Hop Gamer on this week's episode of Throwdown, because we want him to say what's been going on with the whole IGN craziness. We talked about it. We talked about it on the co-op as well. We want to hear from the man himself. It'll be very interesting. So that'll be that. Quick thank you to everybody in the chat for throwing in extra questions. Up this week was a little light, so you guys definitely helped us to beef it up a little bit. Very much appreciated. All right, so let's wrap this up. So thank you for watching and listening. Leave us your questions in the comments section on the Coalition or on YouTube so we can answer them on next week's show. Make sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. Also help support the site by donating to the Patreon page. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Throwdown Show. Links are available in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco. And tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
I'll see you later, guys.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Go watch Kuroko no Basket if you haven't.
Yes. Brett Murdoch.
Some real people.
Adam Vale.
Randy Orton won the Royal Rumble. Whatever.
I don't know
watch some Lucha Underground. Go check that shit. Just watch Lucha all day, every day. Then watch that shit, and then watch more Lucha and drink coffee.
And then play Timefall 2.
Timefall 2 is for life. They should have that shit just stuck in the box.
And of course, Mr. Brian Manjoma.
Damn. Yeah, Uncharted 2 Platinum. I got that.
What?
My man.
Mm-hmm. I got live as well on the Throwdown show.
Yes, he did. That's how we like to get our platinums live. Now next is Uncharted 3, right?
Oh I'm not paying for that game.
Then you get the collection. Oh no, you're playing on PS3.
No. I was playing the PS3 ones. Yeah,
that's right.
Like,
you're done. There you go. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Later.
Peace.
Later, guys.
Later. Peace.